keep getting away with this, and by them I mean Logitech. I mean, how long have we waited for a G703 Superlight or just any type of ergonomic mouse from them? It took them years since the original G Pro came out, and in the year 2024 we get this mouse here, the Logitech DEX. And I think Logitech has managed to create that Logitech magic once again with the DEX. So let's check it out and see how it fares against today's top ergonomic mice. In the box you'll get the mouse, the grips, cable and receiver. The cable is still a rubber cable, which I just don't get why they don't go with a paracord type cable so we can use it while charging, or maybe people just want to use this corded. That's up to them, but it should be an option here, especially when you're charging $160. The new Superlight DEX is featuring the Hero 2 sensor capable of going up to 8,000 Hertz polling rate. This is the same sensor that's in the Superlight X2. The mouse skates are still ass in my opinion. I can't wait to switch these out for some core pads or just throw on some dot skates here. The mouse just doesn't glide as well as I'd like it to, especially for this price point. The weight is coming in at 60 grams. It feels lighter than it actually is. Super well balanced, can game with it for hours without any fatigue or realizing that I'm using the mouse. Now coming from the Lamzu Maya, which is 47 grams, that's 13 grams of a difference. It doesn't feel all that different than the Maya, which is a feat in itself. Now, I would love to see Logitech experiment a little bit more, maybe go down to that 50 grams, but that is just something that we'll have to see in the future. But for now, I think 60 is the real sweet spot when it comes to gaming mice, so I don't mind it. The battery life is coming in at 95 hours. Of course, you're gonna half that if you go up to that 8,000 Hertz polling rate. Now, I've been reading my comments and I've been seeing a lot of y'all say that you are sick of seeing ambidextrous mice. You want some more ergonomic bangers, and this shape, I think, is one of the first shapes that actually beats the Zowie EC2 for me in terms of comfort. This is how Logitech keeps getting away with these late releases with very minimal effort seemingly put. I mean, this is pretty much the Superlight X2 with, you know, a curve and some different changes with the shell. You know, they're not putting too much effort into it, but the shape is what always keeps people coming back. It's like when people hate on the Superlight X2. They say it's a safe shape, it's nothing special, but at the end of the day, they always come back to it. How do I know this? I am one of them. I always come back to this mouse. I say it's boring. It's like a potato shape. It's not that great, but at the end of the day, I always perform well with it. And I think that is simply what they've created here, again, with the DEX. The DEX is a medium-sized mouse, again, with similarities to the G Pro Superlight X2. Looking at the mice straight on, you could even confuse them. You definitely can tell they are from the same family of mice. Where they differ though is that the front is raised to encourage more of a palm grip, as well as beneath your knuckle area. Now, where it beats most other ergonomic shapes is that it fills out the gap between your thumb. And then where your thumb lands in this nice comfort groove is just right. It just hits in all the right places. Now, comparing this versus the EC2, I do like that the EC2 has those curved buttons near the front to give you more of that trigger action to lock the mouse into the back of your palm. But just shape for shape, I prefer the DEX. And this is the first mouse, like I said, that I actually prefer ergonomic wise over the EC2. And then when you look at another top dog like the DeathAdder V3 Hyperspeed, which I love that shape, it almost feels like an ambidextrous mouse when you put your hand on this because the gap is just so big where your thumb goes. So Logitech did a really nice job with working with pros to get this shape dialed in. Now, it's not a G703 because it doesn't have that weird hump in the back, but I actually think that they made something better. You know, we were asking for that G703 for so long, that Superlight, but Logitech, I think, came through on the shape here, and it's actually an upgrade to the G703. And of course, you can do all grip styles with this mouse. Super comfortable for palm grip, relaxed palm. My hands are 19 by 8.5 centimeters, and my fingers hang off the front of the mouse 1 and 2, but the mouse still feels great. I can see how some large-handed users might think that this is a little on the smaller side. So if you just raise your fingers up like this into like a relaxed palm or a relaxed claw, I think it'll work for large-handed users. Of course, small-handed users, you guys are gonna be able to back up and get on to the actual mouse. Medium, you know, we're kind of on the cusp here. So I still love the shape and the size of this mouse. I don't want it to be too big as is, but then to my surprise, it actually works pretty damn well for fingertip grip as well, because the front is almost like a Superlight. So you can do technically all three grip styles on this mouse. Would it be my first choice for fingertip grip? No, but if you want to do it and if you prefer fingertip with ergonomic mice, hey, this one will do it for you. I still wish that Logitech would do small, medium, and large sizes of their mice just to accommodate everybody. They just try to do a medium-sized mice that tries to cover everyone, but I can see again that this being too small for some users. But needless to say, if you are a palm grip user, yeah, definitely go out and check out this mouse because it is one of the best ergonomic shapes of 2024. This is how Logitech continuously gets us to forgive them the shape. The light force switches have been greatly improved over the Superlight X2s. They don't have that springy poppy feel, but a nice crispy click that's not distracting and now oddly satisfying. The worst part of this mouse is the side buttons. Lots of pre-travel and lots of post-travel and are pretty tough to press in. This is 100% a miss on their part. They did everything right and then they got to the side buttons, and the Superlight side buttons are just better, just overall just better. And I don't know how they go from that to downgrading in this mouse. So hopefully this is just a fluke. Maybe the first batch will have this issue, but I'm hoping moving forward they will see videos like this and change the side buttons, because it is a real shame to do everything right and then to just get to the side buttons and mess it all up. So Logitech, if you're hearing this, it needs work. The scroll wheel is gonna be very familiar if you're coming from the Superlight family. Same defined tactile feel with the rubber scroll wheel. All right, so let's drop that sound test of the DEX. So in conclusion, wrapping up this review on the DEX, this is a mouse for mouse connoisseurs. If you enjoy mice, I definitely would pick up a DEX. It needs to be in your collection. It's worth a shot because I am just addicted to using this mouse. And I don't use ergonomic too much. I prefer ambidextrous, but with this shape, it is so good and so comfortable that it just locks into my hand. I can hit the shots that I need to hit, and it is just a performer. The Logitech sensor has been working flawlessly for me. The side buttons aren't perfect and definitely need some work, but I can overlook it for the comfort of this mouse. Now it is on the expensive side at $160. We'll love to see it at $130 or just $10 cheaper, but hey, it's just the typical Logitech tax and it'll fall down another $10 in a few months. That being said, you know, we've been waiting a long time for this mouse and I gotta say, they delivered. I hate to say it, but it's like, man, Logitech, if you guys could just make these mice consistently, you guys would be running the whole industry. As long as you change these side buttons, because they're trash. But shape-wise, you guys got it going on, and somehow you guys always figure out how to do it. And it feels like I'm glazing them, but honestly, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I've been their biggest critic, and I gotta say that this shape has lived up to the hype, and it actually is an upgrade over the G703. So I'm happy that we have this mouse. If you're on the fence about getting it, just go ahead and pick it up. And hey, this is my first time getting a magenta Superlight, so yeah, pretty happy about that too. All right guys, so that's gonna do it for this review on the Logitech DEX. I hope you have enjoyed it. It has been your boy BT. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.